Welcome to Noise with Ivan. I did want to note. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna try to put this out. I might not. The very next day after the other one because it's Bandcamp Friday or in time for Bandcamp Friday anyhow. Um, because I want to throw out some recommendations, some name your price stuff. Some stuff that'll go 100% to the artist. Recently, I've been buying stuff, so I want you to not make the same mistake I did when Bandcamp Friday was coming up, um, and buy everything before then, like a fool. But I mean, Bandcamp needs money too, so hey. The first thing I got recently, well, first of all, roll the intro. Yeah, Silver Dove messaged me on Instagram and said, bro, because he saw one of these videos, and I've been, especially in the last one, even more complaining about how much time I'm spending cataloging on Rate Your Music. And he said, there's an extension you can get where it automatically fills everything out. And I was like, oh no. Oh my goodness. Oh, it hurt so much. It hurt so I wanted to cry when that happened. But now I know, and yeah, I feel bad because I put so many things without track listings when you can just automatically put in the track listings, and that's the main thing that is good for. There's still some stuff that you have to do when you're putting out a release, when you're putting it up there. So it really would not have been any problem at all if I had previously had that. But that's how you learn, and it's good that I was open about it because I could have gone a really long time. And it's good to have friends like that. Stuff I bought recently. I had an emo phase. Something I bought a while ago. I don't know. I bought the T-shirt when I bought it, but you might have seen me in the T-shirt. The Frail Body of Brief Memoriam is one of my favorite emo albums of all time. That's a score. That's something that's in my collection. But then I think Human Hands. If you've probably heard that on YouTube. Human Hands is one of the historical emo records, and you can get that on Bandcamp. I think Name Your Price. I have it on Bandcamp, so I imagine that it was. But one of my favorite albums ever was Alienation by Rainmaker that I had saved on Spotify, and somehow I stumbled across my Spotify page. That's what started all of that, and looked through the albums that I had saved, and that was one of them. It was near the beginning, so I didn't have to scroll very far. And Gris Klein by Birds in a Row, that was Name Your Price, and I decided to buy it, man. I remember when that came out, and it was really popular at the time, and I was like, it can't be better than the one before it, this one. Uh, and I won't say that it is, but the interesting thing about this record, let's just think about the blunk, 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 and then they get into it from there with the beat and everything. You don't have to have the energy to enjoy it because they provide it for you with that intro. So it just never misses. You can't put it on and be like, no, I'm not in the mood for that. It gets you in the mood for itself. That's one of the great things about that release, and I think probably why um, it has gone as far as it has. I expect the same of you. I got this, some Images of Paradise. It was not up to par. I got some random stuff under the emo category because I was like, yeah, I really like emo music. Then I started searching for more on Bandcamp, and I didn't really come to really enjoy any of those the same way. I like the things that I like. So maybe nostalgia's linked to it. Maybe it has to be for me Scrams or emo violence. There's a very there's a it does have to be somewhere between emotional, somewhere between that Midwest emo and power violence for me. It doesn't. Yeah, I can't just listen to anything, and I listen to as a kid, with being a guitar player, I really enjoyed um, like Sleepy Dog and Remo Drive. That revolutionized the way I played guitar. But it can't. I don't know. Again, emotional stuff has to be relatable, and when you have a band like Birds in Row, it just makes you feel it. I feel it anyway. And Frail Body, I don't need to. I can't express it enough. That just it makes you feel it so much. And of course, that record of Brief Memoriam has this rejection of religion, rejection of God, going with it. It's about his mother dying, and relate to it in the opposite way. Of course, I'm a big Christian, but uh, I suppose it's a joyful embracing of that kind of aggressive emotion that I have. The difficult thing about love for me is that I don't deserve it. And there's a and it's primarily God's love, but the love that I have for my mother or for my girlfriend or really anyone, even just friends, and family all around, the love that I experience with them is just not earned. It's just not earned. I can't look at any place in my life and see that I've earned that. It's a blessing. So when I see their love, I see the love of God, and that's heart wrenching because there's that violent emotion against sin for me, and there's an aggression against it, but also there's an overwhelming joy and comfort. Um, so I experience a lot of emotions, definitely. I think I'm one of the most emotional people ever. Um, but it's not in futility, and a lot of the time that for me comes out in ways other than music. So when I try to take that emotion and blast it all into my computer and make a cool piece of music, it just doesn't. It's a very, very hard thing to do, which I suppose is why projects like that where you really feel what that guy is saying and you can relate to it in your own way. Oh my goodness, that's very powerful. Yeah, I got Saturdays at Your Place Always Cloudy. I feel like it's not in my again, it's not one of those things that's in my wheelhouse, I suppose. But it is good. I feel like it's good to have around. It's good to have on you. If somebody else is in the car with you, you might want to put it on and they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, this is fun. Such a good time." Because it's very everyone likes it. I feel like that's a super applicable title, but my whole thing with Gris Klein is that I think anybody can listen to that record and enjoy it. You don't have to be sort of used to or assimilated to. I don't know what a good word is. I would like a big word. I don't have one. You don't have to be good with um, more aggressive music to be able to listen to Chris Klein. But it is aggressive. You know what I mean? So that seemed a little bit contradictory to me, but it is what it is. Coney Demonstration was another one, another Power Violence record that I grabbed on Bandcamp. That was super solid. Um, it's just what you need, what you're looking for, what you would want to grab. And Rhapsodies in Red by Disastrous Murmur, an absolute classic record. I know I had that on a Maxell tape when I was a kid. So to actually have it on Bandcamp was awesome, and it has the EU pricing. So when you, I hate to give this tip because you should support artists, but they got money. What you can do is when it's EU pricing, you can put in 50 cents and then it's turns, or if it's other, you should definitely play, like if it's not in US dollars, $1 is not the minimum. You can definitely figure out how to make it cheaper. Um, yeah, I was gonna say I remember being super into death metal albums and putting all those on cassettes, all the ones I could find, and you can see these Maxell stickers. I didn't know what to do with them, so this was my shelf for my music at the time, and I would always, just plunge all those onto the shelf once I used the tape. It was pretty cool. You get into music and you want to like put a collection together, but eventually, if you really want to plunge forth, your collection cannot be confined by what you can afford. So you have to do, get a computer full of music, or start making music, or um, find a very, very cheap way to do it. But really, Maxell tapes weren't much cheaper. Of course, today's day and age, it's not cheaper than to find albums at your local record store for $1. I mean, this stuff is so cheap at your local record store, and you'll find out about so much more. It's not necessarily going to be cheaper even to buy digitals. So maybe support record stores as well. You know, I mean, we spend so much time sifting online through tons and tons of music, but um, ultimately, yeah, it's kind of. I suppose there's a place for everything. I'm very back and forth with. Oh gosh, and the other thing I was talking about, I knew that everything that was happening was going to be contradictory because I talked about not making music and just kind of giving myself air for an artistic output as opposed to creating more. Because I feel like there's a lot. You have to understand this from my perspective. I've been buried in albums, listening to as much as I can, listening to tons of noise, um, so that um, yeah, I don't feel that more output is beneficial, and I don't necessarily, yeah, I don't want to do that really, but I have a collaboration coming out, Contrite Heart and Hailing Her Heavens. I believe it could have been under His Haunting Humming, but I think Hailing Her Heavens. That's coming out today, so I know that it'll be out by the time I release this episode. Debilitator by Woods Mattress is available on Night of the Flesh. We got to do a CD, and I'll go get the CDs in a second. I'm gonna take a little break because I forgot my coffee and my phone. So, and yeah, I have a handful of the Secret Noise stuff for the mystery packs. Those are cheap. I think I have them for $10 now, and I don't know how many CDs. I don't know how much. It might be $20 and 10 CDs, or $10 and 5 CDs. I should have done an option to where you could do either or. Um, if you don't want to get the same stuff you already have, which could be a thing, just let me know. It's all right. I'm not going to force you to have doubles. And most of the stuff in the mystery pack is not stuff that's regularly available. That's why I made it that way. Just like physical only projects mostly. You could get stuff from the label just for cheaper, but you could get that stuff. So those are two ideas for Bandcamp Friday too. I don't know if I'm going to. I know I would love to do Sado Rituals 1000 or the GOH 1000. I know I would love to, and it's Sado Rituals, I think 500th release. I think. And by the way, once let me finish my statement. Goodness gracious. I don't know if I'm going to put the Contrite Heart Hailing Her Heaven split on CD, but check. It might be there. I don't know if I'm going to there's a Sado Rituals release that came out recently that I was going to put, that I wanted to put out as well. So that's 3 albums that I'm kind of want to put out. I don't know if he will want to put them out in physical, but I will say the Hailing Her Heaven's Contrite Heart split that already exists, Holy Violence, did well. And this is a lot better than that, this release. And also, I don't know if I'm going to have a Hannah Haruna split come out, but we talked about it a little while ago, I think back in December, when he was on. He does a hiatus during the holidays. Um, I don't know if that'll come out. Maybe it will. But that should be coming out soon. And, of course, our split. But mind you, I did that stuff in 2025. Most of my work for those projects was done in 2025. I did do a little bit more when I got back the files, and he did a little bit more um, after that. And I love a collaboration. I love a collaboration. I did talk about that after, or in the last episode too. So, you've got those to listen to. Listen to Slavery. Of course, it's Bandcamp Friday. Not the time to listen to Slavery. It's not on Bandcamp. I have thought about putting it on Bandcamp. Let me know if you want me to put it on Bandcamp. It could end up like every other release there, in which case it's not really. It's a long album and it's a lot of effort. So yeah. Full label discographies. I do want to hit that up. I got the one for Drama recently, Drama Recorder, and they have, it's like all cassette art, which is cool. And one thing about it is it's the full label discography. So yeah, I'm not going to be able to list everything for you that was on there, but it's not a heavy, my thing about Drama or labels like that have like 25 releases for like 15-20 bucks. Perfect. That's good. That's that's good because I know I can listen to or catalog everything within a week of buying it. So, you know what I mean? It's nice to have a smaller discography, even if you don't feel like you're getting your money's worth, as opposed to Gates of Hypnos, in which you get well over your money's worth, and Basement Corner Emissions. Carmageddon is a band that had they didn't have a full digital discography because they only had like 4 releases. But I found, I was going through my 7 inches and I had their EP, the Carmageddon EP. Carmageddon. I thought it was Carmageddon. I was 13 when I bought that record. I was an idiot. I thought it was Carmageddon. I'm sorry that I continue to say Carmageddon because I'm used to saying it from the time when I was a child and didn't know how to read. Curmudgeon. If you can't read the title, you shouldn't be listening to it. Oh, goodness. The Curmudgeon. There's 4 releases from Curmudgeon. Check those out. They're really cool stuff. Same thing with Public Acid. Super cheap digital stuff on Bandcamp. Easy if you like punk and stuff, if you're not just here for the noise. Shitnoise Bastard split and Wrong. I believe that everything by Wrong is on their discography is Name Your Price as well. Looks like it. So that's pretty sweet. Wrong, and it has the cross over the O. So that might help you. If you need splits, ask. Avian Terror, the other Shitnoise Bastards split. I suppose I was going through the Basement Corner Emissions thing and found them, and I was kind of looking for those kind of releases to grab. Oh yeah, I got the new the new Disfigured Robot Child release on Bandcamp, Liquid Terminal. I forgot about that. I listened to it and it was good though. So Dosser. Dosser is a like shoegaze type of thing. I can only assume that this was Name Your Price. I got the Quarantine Sessions by Dosser, and I got the Hiatus EP by the Dramatic Lovers. And you know, I'm sure we've all been in this position, just sifting through Bandcamp, getting everything that you can for Name Your Price. I don't know what was international pricing that you were able to score them into not even paying $1. I don't know what I paid $1 for. And I'm sorry to have to reveal to you all that I am doing things like that. But you got to. Oh, yeah. And Half Round Bastard. I didn't get the Nature Noise Wall full discography. You can. €75. So I opted not to pay for that for 252 releases, even though those are some incredible artists. But I did buy, of course, the Half Round Bastard We Do Not Belong Here release on there because I loved it that much. And yeah, this is what I wanted to mention. Join the Warfare by the collaboration between Shremo and I will be ML99, and then we will have a Militant Liturgy compilation, which is not a common thing for Gates of Hypnos or Militant Liturgy to do. Maybe Gates of Hypnos. I know BC or Basement Corner did this ridiculous 1000 release. Tons of tracks, and it seems like every noise artist is on that. Same thing with the I was on, interesting factoid, I was on a label, Puke Hammer Records. I don't know if they're still doing anything or not. And Superheroes Club was on the. I had a project short-lived called Superheroes Club, and it was on. Let me know if you want me to bring back. It was on that compilation, and I did a pretty good wall. It was some pretty good noise. I don't know if it was a wall or not, but it was. I worked pretty hard on that noise, and it was sick. I had layers and layers, so check that out on the. I can't remember what the compilation was called. I'll obviously flash it up right here. Oh gosh, I had these two releases. I can't remember what label it was on, but I was just looking for all the Sycofolk records. If you're in Belgium, that's a good place to get cassettes from. But there was a release, and I suppose I got it for Name Your Price, called Bloodsuckers Fuck Milk Got Beer. The baby's like, fuck milk, got beer. And of course, I don't use foul language, but the baby did, and I was quoting the baby. So, and Deflowered the rap tape. It was kind of like rap. And I've come across a few things that are rap. Like a few hip-hop things, which is nice because I like hip-hop, I suppose. Oh, that's a good point. I used to listen to the singles collection Drop Season by Kill Bill all the time. Like middle school, I was listening to that record constantly, and I went ahead and bought that. I think it was Name Your Price. But I like skimmed my wish list. So all kinds of music that I liked from middle school that was in my wish list because I played it too many times and ran out of plays, I went ahead and bought some of those things because as poor as I might be, I'm not quite as poor as I was then. Loud Night by Loud Night is a great record. I believe this was a Richmond band, at least something we knew about in Richmond. Richmond, Virginia. Yeah, Loud Night. A classic band. I'll put up a picture of what those guys look like because they look good. Condor, another singles collection, which is amazing if you're getting 2017 to 2018. It's really cool to get a singles collection, like a full length album. But again, these are not surpassing 4 minutes, and there's only 7 of them, and it's 1 year of singles, so not a huge deal. But I like the art pretty good, and it's kind of classic punk, classic hardcore. Gosh, I put a lot of stuff on here. I was about to just go through everything to encourage you to buy stuff at Bandcamp. Just buy Not of the Flesh. That's all you need. Yeah, if you're in the United States and you want sleeved CDRs, of course, go buy stuff from me. Also buy stuff from Kubatu Asparagus. Buy stuff from Perloid. Buy stuff from Severed Nerve. And I'm going to feel bad if I forget anybody, but Inner Demon is another great one for sleeved CDRs. And I love collecting sleeve CDRs. It's so cool. And I feel like you collect vinyl, you'll spend $20 on a record, generally speaking. Sometimes you get cheap records, you get them for $10. I have a handful of records that I got for $1. But you could really do the same thing, but from your couch. You don't have to crate dig and buy for $20 like a whole stack of those sleeve CDRs, and it's kind of like the same experience. It's at least a little bit similar. It's more punk rock though. How it's not more punk rock? Oh, the Attack Hardcore Punk by Murrow. The Attack Hard. Why did I put a "the" on the front? But yeah, that's a full album, and it's 9 tracks, even though those ones don't even surpass 3 minutes. No, they don't surpass 2 minutes and 18 seconds. Those are really short. But hey, sometimes it's good to have short stuff. And of course, I was a big doom sludge metal guy. So Grovel, Trash Poetry was in that thing in the wish list from all the way back then, and so was Rhea Sylvia by Thou. I was not as impressed with the Rhea Sylvia. Thou is one of my favorite bands of all time. I I don't know why. Maybe I didn't do a good job listening to it. Not good headphones, you know. There were some weird things. That one record I mentioned earlier was also not super impressive, and I thought it should have been better. It's very experimental though. That one was, and and pushed boundaries as opposed to a lot of things. You know, if you want to nail an aesthetic, you stay in your wheelhouse. Um, and it's a respectable thing to take the opportunities that you see before you. But Rhea Sylvia was is I'm not going to call it a bad record, but I didn't have a wonderful experience listening to it. I don't know why. Again, maybe I wasn't in the mood. Same thing I said with Chris Klein earlier. The Bottom of a Rotten Flower by the Cowboys. That was makes me feel like I'm in LA. I don't know why I like that, but I got it. And War is Our Destiny by Obliteration. Some of that stuff, it doesn't necessarily hold up all the time, but for me, again, worth having. It's not like there are some albums that are my all-time favorites and amazing. Mahler number 9 is what I was thinking of. Um, Bach's Brandenburg Suites. Bach is my favorite composer. I do want to be pretty general about it. I want to pick one of the main. He's just my favorite. He's the best. Warm, WRORMB. Okay, and he's one of the guys that I accidentally duplicated his release. Amazing. I feel bad that I did that. So I want to hype him up. Incredible Noise Walls, one of my favorite artists, and it's a lot of Noise Walls for a cheap price. Kind of like my dream come true. I don't know what his digital discography costs right now. It's 90 releases, and I don't know how much it costs. He hasn't done anything since then, but but he's an awesome waller. You can find some of his stuff on other labels, but mostly I would just go to his Bandcamp, get all 90 releases for however much it costs. It couldn't have cost that much because I don't have that much money. Yeah, so that is your encouragement. I'm gonna land it on Warm today. Oh, Desired. Yeah, this is like there's another label that I got introduced to this kind of music with these like Sailor Moon themed dance DJ mixes. And I don't remember what it is. There was a few really good ones in it. Other labels that I've mentioned in the past too. I hate not to mention every label that has full digital discographies, but that's a cheap full digital discography. 44 releases for like I think $6 by Desired if you need some dance music to just put you in a positive mood. Get some. I like to listen to it while I'm cooking a lot of the time. Yeah, and my problem is that when I'm scrolling through my collection and I hit Basement Corner Missions, it's gonna wear out my arm if I try to scroll past it, so I'll end there. Yeah, let me go get those mystery box CDs and show those off. So some of the Secret Noise stuff. Oh gosh, there's not a good way to do this. I usually recording these is to be done with your phone. Oh gosh. Some military themed, and of course we have the manga themed stuff. This is my favorite in here. Mostly a lot of Noise Walls, a lot of cool stuff, and of course we have From Here Back is all Not of the Flesh releases, and all of that stuff is a potential for the mystery box. If you already have a handful of other Flesh releases, again, just let me know, and I'll make sure that you don't get any in your mystery box. I don't want to... I mean, that's kind of the fun of the mystery box, right? If you open up card packs, you get a bunch of duplicates, you got to trade them with friends. But if you really don't want to get duplicates, just let me know. Support artists, Bandcamp Friday. Godspeed.